The way you grew up is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Not all of us grew up in a safe home environment. Some of us didn't have a mother to guide us through womanhood or a father to protect us. And maybe you were told directly or indirectly that you wouldn't amount to anything. And one day we all just became adults, and everyone expects you to know how to regulate your emotions, how to navigate the world, and how to have healthy relationships when no one taught us how to do that. Hi, my lovelies, and welcome back to the Between Us and Jesus podcast. My name is Mariam, and this is a podcast where we talk about all things faith, friendships, relationships, and becoming the woman that God created us to be. So, before we get into the topic of today, I just want to preface and say that I'm not saying that everyone who had a difficult upbringing had the same experiences. I just want to share a little bit of my story with you girls to invite you in on the conversation and just create an atmosphere where we can encourage and uplift one another. So, to start off, I would love to say that I wasn't raised with stability in the household. As a kid, I grew up in poverty and I had to deal with the absence of both of my parents. Survival was the number one priority in our household. So if you were fed, if you were clothed, and if you were alive, you were okay and you were expected to be okay. And with that, I dealt with a lot of feelings of feeling that no one expects anything from me and that a lot of people are just expecting me to repeat similar cycles that is seen in my family and just not to amount to anything. And that's not even the hardest part. Growing up in poverty was not even the hardest part for me. I still had fun as a child. We were always playing outside. So I would say the hardest part for me was realizing that now that I'm grown, now that I'm an adult, I'm expected to know how to operate in society and how to be a functional, healthy human being in society when no one even taught me how to do these things. For the longest time, I dealt with a lot of shame, resentment, and anger because I felt that I grew up lacking so much, and because of that lack, I am behind in life compared to the girl who grew up with both of her parents or the girl who grew up with a stable home environment or with stable income. I'm so behind, and I felt a lot of resentment because of that. But then I slowly but surely realized that I actually have the power and control over my life to decide what I want to do next. Now that I'm an adult, I can decide the journey I want to take, the path I want to walk in, what actions I'm going to take to decide the outcome of my life. So today I just want to share a few things with you girls that really helped me to change my mindset, to change the trajectory of my life, and to ultimately build a better life for myself despite my past or my upbringing. The first thing that really helped me on my journey to self-improvement is stopping the belief that my past has decided my future. And this can be applied in so many areas of your life. For number one, just because I grew up in poverty does not mean that in the future I will continue to live in poverty, or just because I was raised by a family of uneducated people who did not finish high school does not mean that I now have to go and not finish high school. I don't have to follow in their footsteps. Their footsteps does not determine the steps that I am going to take in my life. And you can apply this thought process to so many areas in your life. For example, some of us were raised by parents who are drug addicts, and typically what people will expect is that, oh, because she was raised by these unstable parents, she will follow in that direction. She will also fall into drugs. She will also fall into those bad habits and turn out just as her parents. That is what people expect from you. But I decided that no matter who raised me, no matter what they did in their life, I can decide what I'm going to do in my life. I can decide what steps I'm going to take in my life. And I want to bring y'all to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 43, verse 18 to 19. And it says here, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and the rivers in the desert. This is the King James Version, girls. And just look at what God says. I will make a way in the wilderness, meaning that no matter the wild circumstances of your house, the unstable and unhealthy circumstances, with God, He can bring a change about in every circumstance that you are facing. No matter how you were raised, no matter how hectic the household was or unhealthy it was, God can bring a new thing. And what does he say here? Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. So no matter what happened in the past, maybe in the past you dealt with struggles in your life and you were not necessarily the daughter of God that you were supposed to be, but now you've made a change. God has made a change in your heart. And when you don't remember the things of old or consider those things from the past, that means that you are not letting your past be a shame to you today. Just because I grew up in poverty doesn't mean I'm ashamed of it. No, I'm not ashamed of where I come from, but that doesn't mean that's what I'm going to be today. No matter what you did in the past, God can write a new story for you. God can bring that change about in your heart. And don't feel shame about it and don't feel embarrassment about it either. The second point I would love to share with you girls is I stopped waiting for an apology or an explanation. And this can be a very hard one to do because from a young age we are taught that if you hurt someone you must apologize to set things right. But what happens when, number one, the person who did you wrong is no longer there, or they are not able to acknowledge what they did wrong, or to admit where they failed you in certain areas to give you that sense of closure? What do we do then? Do you still carry that resentment or burden with you, or do you simply just let it go? I would say that it is very important to learn to find your sense of closure or that sense of forgiveness within yourself without the help of the person who did you wrong to begin with. Because if you are going to wait for them to come and admit what they did wrong and apologize to you or even explain what happens, you are leaving the power in their hands. You are basically leaving your peace in someone else's hands when it should not be dependent on other people's actions. It should only be dependent on you and the choices that you make. And for this point, I want to bring you guys to Luke 6 verse 31 where it says, and as he would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. So I know that we can't say that we've never hurt someone, we've never done offensive things, or we haven't been in the wrong before. But imagine you've learned from your mistake and you've grew from your mistake and you are a different person now, but still that person you did wrong refuses to forgive you for what you've done. And you know you were wrong and you know you are not that person anymore. How would it feel if they refuse to forgive you? You would like to be forgiven for your past transgressions because you are no longer that person. You should do the same because as you want to be forgiven, you need to forgive as well. Because every day as we wake up, the sun rises over our heads and the sun sets over our heads. That next person who you are angry at and holding resentment towards, the sun rises over them as well and sets over them. God blesses them with a new day the same way He blesses you with a new day. So who are you to hate them and resent them? Now, I'm not saying that if someone did something really awful to you that you should just forgive and forget and accept them. No. What I usually do is I'm able to forgive you and move on. I don't need to invite you into my life. We don't now need to talk and spend time together. No, I can forgive you and just love from a distance from you. And the point is that I don't want to harbor resentment or hatred towards you. That when I see you, all this anger comes bubbling to the surface. The point is to be able to see you and just feel peace and basically not to even care about you. I can forgive you and still live separate from you. And that is why it is so important for us to be able to find closure and forgiveness within us without expecting the apology or explanation from the next person. The third point that I want to share with y'all is that I stopped being afraid to walk in places that no one from my bloodline has ever gone. Now, maybe you're the first person in your family to finish high school or to go to university, or maybe you're the first one to not have a baby out of wedlock. And this might seem simple to some people, but for most of us, it's a family cycle for these things to happen. But you are the first one who did not do that because you didn't see anyone in your family walk the journey for you as an example. It can be very difficult and very hard for you to take that path that no one has taken before because you don't have an example, you don't have a point of reference. So it's hard to step into those spaces and into those circles because you might feel like, I don't belong here, I'm not supposed to be here, I haven't seen anyone do this, why am I doing it? I mean, I can speak from experience. I'm sitting here on a podcast. I promise you, no one from my family has ever started a podcast. No one from my family has ventured into content creation. And it was very scary for me in the beginning. And most importantly, it was embarrassing because I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm talking to a camera, I'm filming myself. What if the family sees? What if this one that I know sees? It will be very embarrassing. So that was something that was very scary for me to do. But I literally forced myself and pushed myself past the fear, past the embarrassment, past the fear of failure to do it anyway and to look silly while doing it. Because when you start something new, it's not going to look good, it's not going to look perfect. Y'all can look at my very first video that I posted on TikTok or Instagram. It's not perfect, it's not good, but as I kept going, I kept learning and I kept figuring out, okay, maybe I don't do this, maybe I try that, or maybe I try this editing technique. Even this podcast is an example. When I started this podcast, I didn't have a mic. Right now y'all are on a tripod. I didn't have a tripod. I got my ring light. There was no ring light to begin with. So can you see what happens as you go? You're gonna learn, you're gonna gain experience, and you're gonna figure out, how can I do this better? But the point is that I didn't let the fear of stepping into the unknown stop me. And because I pushed past that barrier, I pushed past the fear of the unknown, I am now in a position where I am so grateful to be sitting here. Look here, I can now encourage y'all. We can talk to each other. I can share my experiences with you. And I feel that I'm living now with a better sense of purpose, which I didn't have before. So I gained so much just from stepping over that little barrier that I created for myself. And that's what I want to tell y'all, that nothing worth having, nothing that's valuable comes easy to you. And we need to stop wanting things easy. We need to stop wanting to be comfortable. This of healing from your past and taking responsibility of your life requires you to venture into uncomfortable territories, requires you to take these steps that no one has taken before, but to do it anyway and try. If you look silly while trying, it's okay. If you fail while trying, it's okay. At least you tried. I don't mind looking silly. I don't mind embarrassing myself because I have that mindset of, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to venture into the unknown. I want to go there now because I know the result. I know the benefit. I know what's waiting for me on the other end is so worth it. So I'm a girl who likes cringe. I want to look cringe. I want to look embarrassing. I want to try and I want to pursue and go after my dreams and go after the life that I desire for myself. And it won't look perfect, but it's not supposed to look perfect. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's the fact that yes, people might expect you to be another statistic, just another failure, just like the rest of your family or because of your past, but they are not the ones who are writing your story. God is writing your story. He is literally the author and the creator of all life, and He is invested in writing your story. And yes, your childhood or your past may explain the wounds that you have right now, but it does not explain your future, and it shouldn't be allowed to dictate what you do now going forward with the rest of your life. I know healing is hard, and it forces you to look deep within yourself and to confront parts of yourself that you would rather just forget and never think about. But I encourage you to step into your healing journey, because at the end of the day, it will be so worth it for you. And remember that no one, not even me, no one, not even your parents, have a say over your life. Only God has a say over your life. So girls, if you learned anything from this episode, if any thoughts came up for you, please share it with me in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys think of this conversation. And if you want to keep the conversation going or chat with me, I am on TikTok and on Instagram. You can find me there, and let's keep the conversation going. And please don't forget that God is still busy writing your story, and you are still very blessed. And I will see you in the next one.